Good morning and welcome to This Week with Pastor Dino. I'm Dino and I want to thank you so much for joining us here online at First Presbyterian Church of Bradenton, where we are cultivating hearts for Jesus from the heart of downtown. Now, if you recognize where I'm sitting right now, it's because you watched the Q&A on Wednesday night with Larry and I, and it was a lot of fun. We had a blast doing it, and it was all set up except for the TV screen is blank. I just figured, let's roll with it. I want to sit there on Monday and do the morning show. So here we are, and this week I really want to focus on serving one another. It's a major command that Jesus gives us to serve one another and to think of others better than we think of ourselves, but typically we don't. And I've seen a lot of this going on, of course, through social media, through the main media, where it seems to be like we're taking each other down. We disagree with someone's opinion and we take them down, or we think somebody's wrong and we take them down. And we do it so reflexively today in our culture. I don't know if we even realize how often we're trying to lift ourselves above others and put them down. But I want to remind you of what Jesus tells us in the Gospel of Matthew. This is from Matthew 25:40. Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. This is a reminder to all of us that we ought not think of ourselves as better than other people. We're called to be servants, and we're called to serve one another. If you listen to the sermon on Sunday, we talked about what it means to wait on someone as if they're eating at our table. And to be in that servant mentality where the people that we are with, whatever's going on, that we're taking the opportunity to serve them and give them the best of ourselves. That's how we become great in God's eyes. So this week, I want you to be thinking about your responses to things. I want you to be thinking about the people in your life and that are around you. And I want you to think about how you can be the best servant possible. Because whatever you do for the least of these, you've done for Jesus. Thanks be to God. Now let's shift gears and look at some of those construction updates I know you've been waiting to see. It's been a very busy week here at the church. Finishing touches are being put on everywhere, and I want to walk you through some of the areas that are getting those finishing touches. The offices are coming along amazingly. In fact, we are able to start moving some of our things to the offices, but we're waiting to occupy the office space until we get our CO. That's a certificate of occupancy. That means the job up there is done and it's ready to be occupied. So while we are moving things in slowly, we're still working in our temporary offices until we get that CO here in the next few weeks. The courtyard is once again really coming along as a focal point of our church, and that wall and the parapet's being built, and pretty soon it will be all fenced in, and it's going to be a great gathering space for us all. I'm really looking forward to the type of ministry we'll be able to do in that space. And again, a lot of the church is just finishing touches, as you can see. It's starting to look great, and I can't wait for you all to be able to come down here and see exactly what is going on. In terms of programming this week, the main thrust of what's going on is trying to figure out when we're going to be able to reopen in a way that keeps us as safe as possible, keeps you as safe as possible. This week, I submitted a safety plan that our staff had been working on to the session. It's being reviewed by the session and will become a focal point of the conversation that's happening on Tuesday. And after Tuesday's meeting, I think we'll have a little bit more clarity, but we're still watching the numbers and they're high, and we saw a spike over the weekend and whatnot. So we're keeping an eye on everything and keeping our hearts and minds open, but we're going to always operate in a way that is as safe as possible for our congregation. Here's a few of the things I know you will have to look forward to. We'll be taking everyone's temperature at the door. We've got these contactless thermometers, and so we'll be making sure that everyone who comes in here doesn't have a fever. We also have managed to space out the sanctuary in such a way that we can maximize seating and capacity, but we're going to spread everyone out to keep everyone safe. So we'll have signs instead of these little yellow sticky notes, but that is what's going to be going on. So those are some of the things you have to look forward to, and how we're keeping you safe. Of course, we're all going to be wearing masks, and that's going to be a no-brainer that we're going to have masks on and we're going to socially distance. So stay tuned and we'll let you know everything that's going on in terms of getting the building open, hopefully at some point in August when it's safe to do so. This week's programming, we finally have the concert coming on Wednesday night that we know you've been waiting for a few weeks. Now, let me tell you what happened. Concerts, as we film them, are extremely complex. It takes hours and hours and hours to edit them and to get all the sound right and to get all the video in sync. It's not like we just set up a camera and boom, it happens. And Paul's been working for a few weeks on this particular concert. It's the most complex thing we've done, but it's going to be awesome, featuring our soprano soloist Lauren Nielsen, who was here at the church a couple years back, and she came to grace us with some incredible music. Ted and Diane will be there, so you don't want to miss it on Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. Tune in for that. Larry's going to do his parenting Q&A pressure break on Thursday. Dwayne will have his class on Saturday. And on Sunday, we'll be right back here for worship online. So thank you so much for joining us here online. If we can serve you in any way, please let us know. Call the office, shoot us an email. We'd be happy to help you out with whatever you need. Also, thank you so much for continuing to send in your tithes and offerings by mail or by going to the website, bradenton.church/give. It's meant the world to us that you have been so generous. So we want to thank you for that. And again, thank you for being patient as we navigate through this process. Let us remember this week, we are servants of one another, called by Christ to serve, not to be served. And so let us go out and do for the least of these whatever we can. That's how we honor Christ, and that's how we become great in his eyes. So until next time, have a great week, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.